Washington maintains a one-China policy and avoids direct commitments regarding Taiwan's independence. Japan, by contrast, has taken rhetorical positions that exceed what its principal ally is prepared to enforce. This creates strategic incoherence by signaling that it may act in a Taiwan contingency while relying on an ally that remains deliberately ambiguous. Japan exposes itself to retaliation without possessing the military or economic means to defend its stance. Tokyo appears to believe that aligning closely with Washington will deter China. In reality, Japan risks becoming the first target of Chinese coercion precisely because it occupies a forward position without autonomous strategic capacity. The deeper issue is that Japan has entered a phase in which its national strategy is increasingly divorced from its material conditions. It is acting like a state that still commands the industrial weight it possessed in the 1,980 seconds, when it was a leading global exporter, a technological pioneer, and a financial powerhouse, but that Japan no longer exists. The structural decline in its manufacturing competitiveness, compounded by demographic contraction, makes it far more vulnerable to external shocks. Meanwhile, China's economic magnitude and strategic confidence have grown exponentially. The belief that Japan can pressure Beijing or even meaningfully constrain it rests on outdated assumptions about relative power. What we are witnessing is the unfolding of a classic realist dynamic. A state caught between a rising power and a distant patron adopts policies that outpace its capabilities. China, unlike the United States, sits next door. It has the economic leverage, geographic proximity, and political resolve to impose severe costs on Japan if tensions escalate. Japan's decision to test Beijing's red lines is therefore not an act of strategy. It is a gamble driven by misperception, and it could reshape East Asia's balance of power in ways Tokyo cannot control. When the United States embarked on its new era of protectionism, many in Washington argued it would revive American industry, reduce strategic vulnerability, and reinvigorate the middle class. But in international politics, intentions rarely align with outcome. The tariff shock unleashed by the United States has produced the opposite of what policymakers promised. Rather than strengthening America's industrial base, protectionism has fractured global supply chains, raised input costs, undermined competitiveness, and accelerated the very decline it was meant to arrest. And because the U.S. sits at the center of the Western economic system, these effects radiate outward, reshaping and in many cases crippling industries across the developed world. Japan is merely the most visible casualty, but the structural damage is far broader. The core problem is simple tariffs do not erase global dependencies. They merely increase the price of ignoring them.